It's official. The state will take control of Texas's largest school district.
HISD is the largest school district in Texas and is now in the hands of the Texas Education Agency.
Let's go public school! Let's go public school!
For the second night in a row, a meeting held by the TEA was hijacked by community members 7 minutes after it started.
Everything we ever have to get. TEA is not welcome here.
We see you. We see you.
This is not a small school district. You just can't sweep in and take it over without there being major consequences.
The TEA has been actively pursuing running HISD since 2019.
The system of Houston ISD seems to allow campuses to go many, many years without seeing performance.
We have a lot of students not getting the best education possible.
The victims of that failure are the students.
It's a lot going on and y'all just adding more to it. That's also why some kids be dropping out.
Failing schools destroys this democracy. And today, we start doing something.
We've never seen a takeover of this magnitude.
This is a hostile and unjust takeover.
This takeover of HISD has nothing to do with what is best for children. It's about money, it is about politics, and it is a power grab.
Education is number one in our family. It's the most important thing. Even if you don't go to college, you must get an education.
I'm Mrs. Mason and I've been in the classroom for 11 years now. You know, I found a purpose and a passion.
Like many teachers at Fleming Middle School, Lindsay Mason makes a long commute to class. Every morning, after dropping her boys off at their schools near their home in Alvin, Texas,
have a good one.
She heads to her classroom in Houston's 5th Ward.
Every day, like clockwork, I jump on the expressway and it's a straight shot. So on a good day, roughly 35 to 40 minutes. On a day like this, you know, even though with the rain, this has been a smooth commute today. I chose HISD honestly because I know they have the most underserved schools, and I wanted to be impactful to black and brown babies that look like me. They came up, you know, with not spoon-fed.
To make a decimal a percent, we shifted 2 times to the right.
Fleming is part of the controversial new education system. The model introduces curriculum to students in a way that's never been done before, anywhere.
Bye, Lindsay. I had plenty of uncertainties. I did whatever research I could do. It was new, so it was really no research on the new education system. It was a lot of fear-mongering from different articles being put out, different people saying different things. But at the same time, you know, I had to tell myself, how do they know? This is a new program. They haven't gone through it. No kids have gone through this in Houston, so how would they know it's fact? I went through the Teacher Leader Academy. I had to apply, I had to get a recommendation, and I was selected out one of 300 teacher leaders in the district. I'm not from Houston. I chose Houston. I chose Fleming. And
hey, girl, Courtney.
I continue to choose Fleming.
Hey, Miss Cooper.
These are kids that can be not too soaked, but I'm here in anywhere USA that deserve a valuable education. I can be a voice for them to say, hey, you know you can, you don't have to leave Houston to be something. You don't have to go into sports, you don't have to go into this. I can give them that insight. So that's what Fleming means to me, being able to be just, even if it's just 1% of a voice, being 1% of the voice.
The outside community doesn't hold in high esteem what we have going on here.
Fleming has been part of the Fifth Ward community since 1968. The campus opened with 1,100 students. Eighth graders who graduate from here traditionally go on to attend Phyllis Wheatley High School. Fleming's student body population is currently about 60% African American and 40% Hispanic. But Principal Devin Adams says administrators have struggled to retain enrollment numbers.
We were staffed for about 450 kids going into this school year, and we did not meet that. We have about 350, 360 kids right now. 97% of our students are economically disadvantaged, and the vast majority of our students are being raised in non-traditional family structures. So
what does that mean?
Single parents, older siblings. Statistically, these kids are going to have additional hurdles that they're going to have to cross that maybe their more economically advantaged kids don't have to worry about. We have external factors that really contribute to what is going on the campus.
In 2019, the Fifth Ward became a state-designated cancer cluster. According to the Houston Health Department, the designation comes after decades of the Union Pacific Railroad Company's operations in the neighborhood, resulting in soil and groundwater contamination. Here, an unusually high number of people, young and old, have been diagnosed with a chronic disease. Union Pacific is in the process of working with the Environmental Protection Agency to clean up the mess, but the work is still in progress.
The Fleming Middle School community sits in, a cancer cluster with things going on with the treatment with Union Pacific, the treatment of the wood for the railroads for Union Pacific. So there are, don't drink the water at the water fountain, or don't send your kids to Fleming, they're not learning. Oh, the kids are bad. Oh, the teachers don't really care about the kids, they don't know how to teach. Oh, the leaders they're poor leaders. So there are all of these assumptions made on what is going on here. But once you step into the campus, and I can say since I've been here, I had not visited the Fleming campus before joining on as a leader here. So once I got here, that has not been the case. And I anticipate that it won't be the case.
Remember, I need you to use your visual cues.
Here, this is my 4th year. When I became an assistant principal, I was named first year assistant principal of the year. By the time I got to middle school, 7th to 8th grade, I pretty much knew I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be the teacher that I wish that I had. I really just flew under the radar. And so I wanted to be a teacher that says, I'm going to see every student. I'm going to see every single student that crosses my path. There are people who choose not to see the students at Fleming as the next mayor, as the next principal, as the next HPD chief, as the next business owner. They make the decision not to see students at Fleming that way because of their perception, because of their zip code, because of their neighborhood, because of mistakes that the students themselves are making when they're 11 and 12 years old. So I am here to let them know that they are not their mistakes.
Rolando Watts last night, right? I was with Rolando Watts at Comedy and Hollywood. What was it like with Rolando? You don't get no party like she should.
It's a great place. I love the teachers. I love everybody. I love it here in general. Last school year, It was good. Recess especially.
Morning, sweetie. How you doing?
Good.
Nice to see you, baby.
Last year, it was pretty easy. It was so quick. This year, it's too long. It's going by fast, but it's at a slow pace.
Who is D. Arthur?
Skater boy.
Yeah, we do it big down south, put big country down south, country down south. You know what I'm talking about.
What does that mean?
That means I skate.
So that's your favorite thing to do is to skate?
Yes. Life in the skate rink is just skating. Go around with your friends, eat, put up skates, walk around. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Plus, my friends are all there.
This is Arthur's favorite place. My family owns the skate rink. I think we've been in the community so long that this is just a place that feels like home. The new education system was a shocker to me. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna thrive in this environment. I didn't really know much about it except what you get online, and that could be anything. So I was like, let me see for myself. Got to the school, I'm like, oh my God, I got to get him out of here. I wanted to transfer him immediately. Like, I was like, oh no, this is not gonna work. I just think this is too much. I kind of thought it was too much. Not that he's not a smart kid, but I'm just like, this seems like a lot of pressure. I think they're under a lot of scrutiny. The cameras, I was like, this feels like a jail.
I don't like how different it is this year. My name is Journey Merchant. I go to Fleming Middle School. I'm an 8th grader.
Do you understand why your school has been turned into an NES campus?
Because the new superintendent.
Do you think your school needed some improvements?
It did, but at the same time, I liked how it was. It's just a lot to take in. When my teacher's teaching and I don't catch on that fast, like they can't really go back because they just gotta keep hurry up and do it before we can get done. When I get home and I go back to school and they say review and all that, I feel like I'm not learning at all.
Are you learning more than you learned last year?
I'm learning more than I learned last year. A lot more.
Fractions, denominator of 100. Answers only on the whiteboard. Confirm with your partner. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, go. Ooh, ooh.
NES teachers receive pre-planned timed lessons from the district, with cameras always recording in the classroom. According to the district, cameras allow disruptive students who are removed from the room to continue the lesson via Zoom.
I will say that this is probably my first year where I have seen behaviors just down. You know, we still have behavior issues, but it's not like heavy, it's not hectic. One of the misconceptions I will say, and one of the negative things that I've heard is, you know, the lesson plans, we weren't supposed to be lesson planning, we weren't supposed to be doing this, they were supposed to give us everything and we just go in there like surgeons, that's the word. Well, even the best surgeon has to prepare for his patient. So they can give you the medical file, you still have to research. So when they give us these plans, what they took from it is us actually scripting out. We have a new strategy. It's the same as think, pair, share, but I took off the TH and we're going to ink, pair, I'm doing these questions, I'm doing these pages. We don't have to do that anymore. They give it to us. We go through and we internalize it. We make it the best. So it's like, okay, if they suggest 6 minutes on this, but we know our students can get it done in 4, I'll change it down to 4 minutes. We have the autonomy and the freedom to, you know, when they give us the information, adjust it as we need it to make the model work for me and then still be able to put my own, you know, seasoning on it, as Principal Adams say. So today, we are continuing on with ratios, but we're taking it up a notch. We can write ratios in fraction form, right? But we can also write fractions in what form? Decimals. And decimals are also what? And fractions are also percents. Equivalent fractions are, they have the same value, but they have different numbers. All right.
The requirement is for them to read, write, and talk through every lesson. So for the first 45 to 50 minutes, they're reading, they're writing, they're talking all the time. Every 3 to 5 minutes, they're doing that. It increases engagement. So it seems as if the weight on me is a lot because of creating the engagement side of the lesson, using what I'm given and building on top. But once I figured out how to best do it for my students, it's quick. I can do it. They understand it. It's color-coded. It's vibrant. It's bringing them in.
During instruction, principals and assistant principals visit classrooms to observe, evaluate, and provide on-the-spot coaching.
To be honest, at first they were a little invasive because previously we would know when we would have an observation or anything like that. And I say they were a little bit invasive because it was like, hold on, you were just here. But then once we had more understanding of what it was doing, and once we, got the gist of it, it became something that I'm hard on myself. I'm a very harsh critic on myself. So it became something that I used to hone in my skill even more. So I take feedback. Sometimes in the moment it's like, wait, hold up. Let's talk about it. It created better educators, I will say. It weeded out those that were not their NES. Either because they just did not like the constant mirror, the constant window.
One more minute before I start coming around to check what you already have.
At the end of the lesson, students take a 10-minute demonstration of learning, DOL. It's a quiz to identify those needing more help.
I don't like that 10-minute timer. I don't. And I know they expect a middle school to work at a easier time, but at the same time, they also need more time. I'll be thinking I'm gonna fail that, and I hate failing it. You guys, my teachers, I cry about that. I don't like it.
It's like a scary roller coaster, basically.
I mean, we didn't have a timer at my last school, but here, I mean, I know I'm gonna finish anyway. And we get a little bit, like a couple of seconds after the DOL. So I don't really have a problem with it. But I know other students do. My mom was talking about that. The expectation is to complete a lesson, and if you finish the DOL, you get to go to the team center and you do independent work.
All right, guys, as you come in, Mr. Alton, I saw y'all sneak by me. Gentlemen, we're gonna try something today. Come on in. Grab a pencil pouch. Just pick one. It's got a number on it.
This is our team center. So the team center is where the students go after they finish the demonstration of learning.
Find the corresponding desk. Grab a pencil pouch, find the corresponding desk.
And they go in there to receive enrichment from the learning coach.
If you do not have a pencil pouch, come grab one. Every pencil pouch got a number, every desk got a number. Find your desk and the number that matches and take a seat.
They've already demonstrated that they have the ability to complete or master the concept. Now they're going into the team center to stretch their learning.
Nice try. You picked, not me. That's okay. No, you found it. Nope. You picked. No, thank you, but no. No, thank you. Look, I didn't pick your desk. And then all y'all get upset, Mr. Rendon, why'd you move me? Why'd you put me over here? Well, it's not me. You pick.
It could be a critical thinking piece. It could be something where they have to analyze or synthesize, but it's a stretch of whatever the concept is being taught in the classroom for that day.
Let's get started. All right, my name is Randolph Rendon, and I'm the 6th grade learning coach here at Fleming. Our main goal here as the learning coach in the team center is for students who come in to come in get their work done. And so that way, this teacher doesn't have to worry about missing any one particular student, not having to slow down for, worried about slowing down for students that may need that more individualized help, and then slowing down a student that already is grasping that concept and then has to wait.
You basically go to the team center, and then they also put another timer on you to finish your work, and they hand you with this big passage and you don't get to it. They pressure you down saying if you don't finish the question, you basically got a 0. I don't want to go ahead and do another type of DOL after I just finished the DOL, because I feel like that's basically already proven how much I've learned.
The one thing I would like people to know is that it is not a detention center. This is a positive classroom. This is to help further students' learning and education.
There is no in-school suspension room at all. My name is Garrett Holtz, and I am the 8th grade Team Center learning coach. Well, we still have some behavior problems within the Team Center, but I think we're a little bit more proactive this year compared to last year. We know what we're supposed to do. We know who we're supposed to refer behavior issues to, and there seems to be some immediate consequences where last year it was kind of like a free-for-all. There was not much structure there, and a lot of the kids did not have assignments when they came into the ISS room, where this year they have specific work that is brought with them, and we can monitor their improvement in their work that way, unlike last year.
So they're not getting just a free day anymore.
Right. They are coming to the Team Center with work, and they do that work.
You heard a lot about, this is just the new ISS. They're taking away libraries. What are the kids going to read? Where are they going to go? Is this just to, get the behavior students all rounded up in one spot? That's a lot of what I heard.
Is that the case?
No, not exactly. Our library is still in full effect. It has also been used as a team center for the 6th grade, but they still go in there for books if they need it. We have books in our team center as well if they just want to stay on this floor.
Last year there was an expectation district-wide that every school has a librarian or a media specialist. Okay. So then we did end up hiring a media specialist, and that person was there to help support the students in checking out books.
So kind of like what you have now, a specialist.
Exactly.
Was here last year.
Exactly.
Not much different for students.
It is not much different than what it has been.
The library is my team center for the 6th graders. In the mornings, before the bell ring, they do allow students to come in here to check out books or to a place for holding. They hold kids in the team center or the cafeteria. I do allow students to check out books one at a time.
Why'd you say it like that?
They will love to check out 2, 3, 4
That's
if
good.
they can.
Do you use the library?
No, not really. We just go in there for the team center.
Does any of your classmates use it?
Yes.
What do they check out books?
Mm-hmm.
What's the library policy? How do you get a book?
I ain't never got a book, so I don't know.
But do you do a lot of reading in school?
Yes.
How much reading do you do?
You have to read in every class, even in gym.
We do have plenty of challenges with the program. Not everything runs smoothly. I do feel like the changes they're making are necessary to help our students, and that's the overall point. We're trying to close gaps. We're getting ready to transition back. If you are in Miss Mason's class, take your assignment with you. Miss Mason's class, take your assignment with you.
Come too far, can't turn around now, can't sit back down, only one move now. Forward, 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 move.
We move in groups.
There's a lot of rules. I mean, it's normal. Every school has some rules.
Level 0 is basically just silent. Like on a test, we have to be very silent so other people can concentrate.
You have to walk in a single file line?
Yes. I don't know why. It's just to keep you from interacting with other classes. So when I'm walking on the right side, and all the classes are on the left, and I try to interact with my friends. They're gonna tell me to go back to that side.
Sometimes you gotta feel like you an adult, and y'all steady constantly working these kids, and y'all expect them to stay like that, and then they gotta go home if they have siblings and work on them siblings before they go to bed. It's like it's a lot going on, and y'all just adding more onto it. That's also why some kids be dropping out. And I'm not saying that's always the reason, but that's some of the reasons.
How do you handle all the stress?
I go home, I listen to my R&B for about an hour, watch my phone, take me a shower, and I eat, and I go to bed.
You have to structure education. So when you have consistency and cohesiveness throughout the grade level, throughout the school, they do it in PE, they do it in band, it creates its own connection and achievement.
Every week I'm going to try to show you some sort of image that's decontextualized, meaning I'm going to remove context, I'm going to remove any title, any context, and your job is to try to figure it out.
My favorite part of school is either Mr. Siddiqui, Miss Martin, or Jim.
What I'm proud of is you guys latched onto images.
Mr. Siddiqui is Art of Thinking. That's a new class for a lot of people. Why do you like Art of Thinking?
Because the first thing we learned about is thinking about our thinking. And I'm always thinking about how do we think about our thinking.
Information is very important.
In your simplest terms, can you describe what this class is?
Okay, as simple as possible, it's making sure it's students critically thinking and being very intentional in their thinking. It's part ELA, it's part social studies. It's anywhere from conflict resolution, problem solving, bias in media, propaganda, hidden agendas, scientific method. So anything that's critical thinking related. They accuse teachers of being biased now, so they know that word. And they do it in a funny way. So
and so at the beginning of the school year, they weren't really certain what the definition of bias was.
No, they didn't. I'll give you a quick story. I had a student walk in who lost her pass. And came in being very nice to me, and a student blurted out, "She has a hidden agenda."
Oh.
And I was like, at that moment, I was like, "Oh, that just made me happy that they said that." It was like a funny moment. I've taught at a lot of different schools where, you know, all different levels, students come in at all different levels, all different income levels. But one thing I've learned in my 11 years is that middle schoolers are all naturally just middle schoolers. If we hold them all to the high standards and provide them what they need, they're all really the same. The behaviors are the same, the challenges tend to be the same. It's just that our kiddos tend to have a little bit more trauma than your average student. From a 6th grade team, we do Viking of the Week, which let them know that we see the hard work that they're doing. The teachers kind of pull in money together. We get donors as well. We celebrate them on a weekly basis. This is a person that is consistently just grinding and working really hard.
If they have done something outstanding to serve their fellow students.
And that student is Jada White.
That's kind of what we've been doing on the 6th grade hallway.
This is a student, he has done everything correctly. He comes to school every single day early. He gives me a fist bump every single day. Even. You earned it, let's go.
Do you think you're learning anything?
Yeah, I'm learning stuff because I get A's in my class, but like, they go too fast. For me, it's been going a little down because I don't like, well, my grades have been streaking a little bit.
They've been going down?
Mm-hmm. My daughter can't keep up with that. My daughter is special ed 504 learning disabled. When the TEA took over, they literally just did away with all the accommodations. So she's in regular population and she's getting really far behind.
If you could say anything to the leadership who's going to see this, administrators, school board members, what would you say to them on behalf of your daughter?
Let the special ed students have their accommodations because they deserve a proper education and they need the help that they need.
There are plans that we are putting into place at the campus level. I have a talk I sit on the principal advisory council that meets with the superintendent once a month. And so I did raise the question and say, hey, are there any campuses that are doing a great job of ensuring that their emerging bilingual students and their students with even special education services are like thriving? Because if there are, can we go visit? Can we speak to the principal of that campus? And so I am awaiting to hear back on a campus that is doing so, because I wanted that to be a part of my planning process going into next school year.
I'm a good student.
What's a good student? What does that mean?
A good student is the one who just gets the work done.
and they do nothing after.
What are your grades like?
They're good.
A lot of people say it's a lot of work and it's like rigorous, like it's hard work and it moves really fast. That's not your case?
It's pretty easy for us. We just do it and get through.
You know, our first assessment, we had some low numbers. It was a little bit disheartening. I'm gonna show you the standard analysis. Okay. So this is basically the TEEPs from the first assessment, where they did not even get near mastery.
Things they should know on the grade level.
Yes,
okay.
This is all on grade level. We take an assessment every 3 weeks. This is the standards from yesterday.
Wow.
This is the standards from yesterday.
Same kids.
Same kids
There's
from
still
yesterday.
Some people in the red.
Yes, there's still some people, and that's expected.
Right.
And the red does not mean failure.
Right.
It just means not mastered, because mastered is anywhere from 70% and higher. So I went from none mastering to 41% in 3 weeks. And in one class I had 70% mastery. So I was like, yeah, so it's working.
One of the arguments I hear often is that the students under the system are only learning so that they can take a test.
I definitely am not teaching to the test. Not once this year have I looked at the test before I taught. They are learning beyond the classroom, especially when we tie in real life scenarios. You know, we tied in the eclipse. That's not going to be on any math test ever. We tie in shopping experiences. We tie in their grades, their data, the percent they need to grow. If you could take a 12-year-old from 5 years ago and put them in a room with other 12-year-olds and ask them to justify their thinking, they're gonna look at you like, do what? But if you take 12-year-olds now and you tell them to justify their thinking, they're gonna restate the information. They're gonna find evidence. They're going to be able to defend it. So I really do think that this will create a better pathway for all types of careers because they will have that skill.
Our goal is that students are growing, do at least a year and a half worth of growth, maybe even 1.7 instead of 1.5 by the end of the year.
So while most kids go to school and they're just expected to grow a year because the students in the NES schools are behind, they are expected or hopefully will grow a year and a half in that 1 year.
This is a campus goal.
Okay, this is just
this is not, we had the autonomy to set our own goal.
Remember, metaphor and simile are a little similar.
Were you able to get all of your teachers to buy in?
I was able to get my teachers to be professional in their presentation of their lessons and providing their instruction. There are teachers currently on the campus who do not believe in the model, do not believe that the model is what is in the best interest of the kids. However, they are professionals.
If you could say anything to the people watching this, the community, and your students, what would you say?
I would tell my students that they're awesome and to make good choices. I would tell my community to come and visit the campus and bring a friend. It really, there's work that we cannot do in the absence of support of our community. It's very easy for the community to, come in times of strife. If they were talking about closing the camp or something like that, then the community would be up in arms. But right now, that is not the case. Not the case in the foreseeable future. But when me as a principal, I'm doing call outs, I'm sending flyers, I'm putting things on the billboard, I'm reaching out to different organizations within the community to try to get for them to reach out to people who they know. And I just have not seen much success in in support?
It's something I would want to do, but honestly, it's just time. Like, time keeps me from doing those things. But I can't do it because I have to work. But I'm always emailing his teachers. I'm texting. I'm on all the apps. I'm talking to Mr. Adams. I'm talking to Ms. Soto. I'm all around the board. So I do what I can. I do what I can.
And I was wondering, why do they need to take over, though? What was so bad that they had to take over? I mean, are they gonna come in here and really do what they're saying they're gonna do? I've been living here since the 70s. So that's over, I don't know how many years that is. I love my community, I really do. My boy and my girl, they went to Fleming. My daughter, her kids went to Fleming. Me as a grandparent, I need to get involved a little bit more. These are our children. These are our children. It might not just be my grandchild. It could be anybody. All of them are my children. I want to help somebody. If I can help one along the way, that'll be what I would love.
I was born to be someone else, someone that is whose life is defined principally by race, segregation, and poverty. As a young child marked by the sharecropping fate of my parents and the culture that predominated in East Texas in the 1940s and 50s, I initially saw these factors as limiting what I could do and who I could become. That in the end, I did not become the person I was born to be, still, at times, confuses and perplexes me. Throughout my 70-plus years, I've been struggling to understand why the early circumstances of my life did not, in the end, define me.
Dr. Simmons, you grew up in the Fifth Ward. Can you describe what that was like growing up there as a child and what it's like now?
We overcame the lack of resources by focusing on the things that we could do productively. And for many of us, it worked out well, but no doubt it didn't work out well for everyone. Our schools were supposed to be less than. They were supposed to be just enough to get us through to technical or professional work at a low level. That's what the schools were supposed to be doing. And yet, they did not do that. And why didn't they do that? Because people were motivated. The parents were motivated. The educators were motivated. Students were motivated to learn. So no matter what setting you're in and no matter what people are saying about you, your motivation counts for a lot. Are you willing to work hard? Are you willing to look to the future for ways that you can serve your communities? It happens because it springs from you and your community and what you think of yourself and what you value as a human being. All of that is going to fuel who you become in your life. It's not about the money you have. It's not about the color you are. It's not about anything other than the kind of person you can become by investing in yourself.
9x plus 3 plus 7 equals 3 plus 9x plus 7. Think about that.
So the big question, is the new education system model working at Fleming?
I would say that yes, the new education system is working.
We're building the plane as we're flying it in NES. So I am very happy that we survived through it all, politically, personally. through a system, we survived and we're growing. Are we seeing major, magical, oh my gosh, 100%? No. After 1 year, it's not possible. I don't care what program is out there. Statistics have shown that if a student or a child is a year behind, it takes 2 to 3 years for that child to catch up.
You gave the NES system, the new education system, an F. You say it's failing from your eyes. Why do you say it's failing?
Because I don't really like the way it is, because all the new stuff is just a lot to take in.
The new education system is still very scary for me. But again, I see my child thriving. I don't know what other kids are doing. I don't know if it's affected them in a negative way. But for me, it's working. As a parent, you have to make the decision you want to make. However, you cannot just 100% be against something that you don't even know what it's really about. If he would have had a problem, I would transfer him. I will be keeping him in Fleming for 7th and 8th grade. Now, I thought about it in the beginning. I'm going to change him, but he loves it. He's thriving. His grades are good.
All right, find the blue line and let's get ready. All right, Mr. Host, we're going to start sitting back down in small groups. Here we go. Count them up. 1, 2. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Very good, very good, very good.
I want for all of my students to go and be the best person and the best version of themselves. Not everybody's going to go to college. So I don't want to say I want everybody to go to college, I want everyone to get a degree, because that may not be what's best for everyone. It may not be in every single person's future. However, every person that comes through this campus should be able to communicate, should be able to work together, should be able to innovate, should be able to problem solve, and have a vision for themselves, so that if it is their choice to do something more, to go beyond Fifth Ward community, to go beyond Houston, that they have that option available to them.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A mechanic. I like cars.
It has been a year. I've been in education well over a decade, and I promise you this year has been more interesting than COVID. Teaching virtually, hybrid, having kids, it has been interesting, and in a good way. It's challenged me as an educator. I've seen leaps and bounds in what kids can do, and it's challenged me as a person. This is where I'm supposed to be. I don't want them to think that because of this zip code they can't learn, they aren't learning, they aren't capable. They don't choose their zip code, and their zip code doesn't determine their aptitude. The achievement gaps are closing. They are. I fully give it. By next year, it's going to be, by this time next year, the data is going to be flipped.